think they can't even afford it, where there's a lot of funders out there. And another thing is they don't know what opportunities do exist for them. So I think it's really about just ensuring that people have that information.
Emna Marcelo, when you're massive, Muna. Emara Muna, Audi or something. When? Fuck, man. You're massive, man.
Top right now, everyone listening to you, including myself, we celebrate what you have done. So
Yeah, thank you so much for that nice and warm welcome in the introduction. I am ready when you are.
oh, okay, thanks a lot. If you are asked to give us maybe an introduction or tell us who Ndavi is, how would you be able to present Ndavi to us?
Yeah, so Nokeri is a 23-year-old who comes originally from Gawaza village in Tanin and Nampopo, where I believe is really the place that shapes the woman that I am today, being surrounded by a kind, loving, and really close and small community. You really get to learn how to value little things, and from that you get to, just use it on a bigger scale. So that's where I learned a lot of being compassionate, being caring, being loving, and really valuing family. My family is one of the biggest things in my life that matters most to me, and I also learned from them to give back. And so, yeah, that is me in a nutshell. I hold a BCom Investment Management degree from the University of Pretoria, and I have a great passion for investments and economics.
Thanks a lot. Lately, I've been watching all your interviews. I know that you are UP graduate. You decided to leave your job to pursue the calling which you hoped to achieve it as to become Miss South Africa, which was a huge decision. So, how did you come up with saying, I just wanna maybe resign from work and pursue this is where I am? What maybe convinced you or made you believe that this is where you belong?
Yeah. So for me, number one, I've always wanted to give back, right? And you can give back from different places. I mean, even if I stayed in the job that I had, I would still be able to give back. But I think what the Miss South Africa platform really does is it gives you a space and a time, like it's designated for you to work and give back. And so for me, that was a bigger platform for me to help out. And also, the journey in itself is inspiring and so empowering. I know a lot of women and a lot of men as well are inspired to dream again and hope again because they watch someone else do that. And so when I looked at those things, seeing how much more it can make an impact, not only for myself but for my society and my community, I realized that there's so much more to benefit in pursuing this than for me to stay in just my job. But also when I wrote down what I wanted to do in 2022, because every year I write on my vision for the year, and Miss South Africa 2022 was on my vision for 2022, as well as getting the job. But with the job, I didn't write the year. So that was one of the distinguishers for me, because I believe that there is a time and a season for everything. And the fact that I said 2022, I really had to, hold myself accountable for the things that I said I would do, and decided to pursue that. And with my faith in God as well, really helped me to, not be afraid to take that step.
Yes, yes. That's really powerful. So, a few weeks ago, you were standing on the audience, about thousands and thousands and millions of South Africans at the comfort of their homes. They were watching you, being proud. What is the most supernatural feeling that you felt during that moment?
When I was on stage,
Yes.
I wouldn't say it's supernatural, but maybe it can be supernatural, because in that moment you're obviously supposed to be very stressed and very anxious, but I was extremely calm. So yeah, I think supernatural is actually a good way to explain it in that concept. The fact that at such a big moment I had this peace and this calmness, and I think it's because I was really proud of how far I had come from top 3 or top 5 even. I was like, oh my gosh, we did that, it's amazing, we've done amazing. So just knowing that, I've done my best, I've worked so hard to get here, and just being proud of how far I've come really just made me that moment to just be ready for whatever was about to come.
And that's really powerful. Um, someone like me who knows that there's Miss South Africa out there, but they don't really know who Miss South Africa is in terms of the responsibilities and duties that Miss South Africa has in the country. What are the responsibilities and duties that you as Miss South Africa have?
Mm. Yeah, so as a Miss South Africa, I think you can, for to a certain extent, you personalize what you want to do as a Miss South Africa. But most of us obviously have something that we advocate and stand for, and we are given the platform to do that at a bigger scale. And so for me, one of my biggest passions is really to bridge the gap of the educational inequality in our country. And so it is my responsibility to ensure that I push that advocacy and I implement all the initiatives that I want to do, to ensure that I actually attain the change that I want to see in the country. And because I'm given different platforms, different networks, stakeholders that I now have access to, so it is a responsibility to ensure that I bring that all together, and implement what I want to see. And then another thing is really to just be a good role model for a lot of girls and also a lot of boys out there. And also you're given a platform to speak up. So it's very important the things that you say when you stand up, because people are listening. So the words that we say really can shape the lives of other people, and it can really shape our country at large. So you just have that responsibility to ensure that the words you use are building the nation and advancing us and pushing us forward as a country.
Yeah, that's really powerful. Let's dwell a little bit on education. You always say that you have great plans for education in terms of tertiary level and high school and preschool. What are your plans like you have to implement them to change our education poor system that we have currently?
Yeah. So for me, it's obviously starting with what I know. And growing up in a village, while I was fortunate enough to go to the more advanced schools, I saw the difference between the quality of the education. So yes, we've advanced, we've come very far as a country to ensure that a lot more people have access to education. But I think the issue now is that quality and also the different resources that the learners get. For instance, when you go to a more advanced school, you have more information about what can I do with my career going forward. You have access to more technology and things like that. And so I think it's really just about ensuring that the learners in the rural areas also have access to those resources. So they also have enough information so that they can pursue their dreams and their passions. Because sometimes I think they're really discouraged because they either think they can't even afford it, where there's a lot of funders out there, and another thing is they don't know what opportunities do exist for them. So I think it's really about just ensuring that people have that information so that they have the motivation, as well as empowering them with the skills and the tools.
Yeah, that's really great and powerful. So, in terms of you comparing to rural village, you are from Kawaza, right, in Limpopo.
Yeah.
Yes, I've never been there, but I assume it's a real village, you know.
Yeah.
In Gauteng, like mina nvina opportunity ya kufunda aka Denalton and here in Gauteng. So I also know what the differences are, you know. For an example, we don't have Wi-Fi at home in schools at home. Here
Yeah.
we have free Wi-Fi. Here we have computer labs. What are your plans,
Yeah.
maybe of maybe trying to uh, digitalize education to young people in villages?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you with that. So the thing is, now I don't want to speak over my what I can do,
Yeah.
but the plans that I do have on paper do include things like ensuring that we do take Wi-Fi and access to internet to the rural areas. We have spoken to a lot of the smaller municipalities that are on board with regards to taking the connection, because it's the basic things. They literally just don't have the infrastructure to support that kind of stuff. So it really needs to be sorted at a municipality level for it to be supported. So we are having those kind of conversations to ensure that there is internet in those kind of spaces, because we are moving into a more digitalized world. And so to ensure that they also keep moving forward, they need to have that kind of access. So
Um,
yeah.
yes, one of the things I have realized about learners in villages also You mentioned it in the beginning of our interview that they don't have necessarily the information, needed for them in terms of what to study, where to go. For an example, a lot of people, they don't know that you can do music adverts, you can do like theater, drama adverts. So learners who are in grade 10, grade 11, even in grade 12, they really
Sorry,
need.
I've lost your sound there.
Now you can hear me.
No,
You can hear me, right?
now I can.
Yes. I mean, like learners in grade 10, grade 11, grade 12, they also need this kind of empowerment to say, guys, these are the opportunities available for you. This is the right institution for you to be able to study for this. So maybe do you have any plans regarding that matter?
Yeah, I think that's a big deal. Because even for myself, I went to a school where I was involved in a lot of extracurricular activities, such as netball, hockey, different sports. And I think for the biggest time, I thought I'd become a professional netball player, which just shows you how really, this just shows you how important it is to give learners a space to dig into their different talents. We're not all going to become doctors. We're not all going to become lawyers. There are so many different industries that learners aren't aware of, and they're also not trained for. If you don't have music at high school, I can't expect to go study music in university. I don't have any background on that. So I think one big thing that would be great for our nation if we can implement is to ensure that every school will actually implement extracurricular activities. It should be something that's mandatory because it's an important sphere to play in. That is where we can nurture the talents of these learners so that they can also, have different options for their careers. So I think it's a very important aspect that we can look at to ensure that external activities are actually mandatory in different schools.
I'm really sorry to dwell more on education. Maybe it's because I'm a student, and maybe it's because I love education a lot. There's another thing also.
I apologize. It's my favorite topic.
Thanks. There's another thing also I realized, when it comes to young females in high school and in tertiary. There's a saying in Spedi which says "malapa likan," which means we are coming from different homes, different backgrounds. They don't have necessarily the sanitary towels that others can afford. We see some other organizations are really trying so hard to make them available. They're not really enough, and learners in villages, they don't have maybe privileges that people in Cape Town and in Joburg have when it comes to those kind of things. So do you have maybe plans to address these kind of issues?
Yeah, you're correct. I think it's so interlinked with education because a lot of women and a lot of girls can't go to school at that time of the month simply because they don't have the necessary sanitary pads or towels that they need to help them. And so with a lot of the drives that we do, we always ensure that we do donate to sanitary towels because it's something that's a basic need, but somehow we still haven't made it free and easily accessible in all different spaces. So we have partnered with BU Sanitary Towels, so they help us everywhere we go to just donate pads. And what I love about what they do is that they don't just give you that one day, they actually give so that the learners are sustained for, I think, the entire year or so. So that's really helpful, but I really do think that a more sustainable solution would be for it to become more easily accessible and to be something that is freely given because all women go through that and no one should ever be humiliated or to lose their dignity because of that, because it's a natural process.
Yeah. Now, I wish you great success on that subject. It's a very serious subject and needs to be addressed. It's not only your responsibility alone. Every entrepreneur and everybody who's earning a little bit of much salary to be able to help the next girl should be able to do that. So
Absolutely.
yes, back to your course as a graduate in Become Investment, right? Do you have any
Yeah.
plans to become an entrepreneur or to empower young people? Maybe partner with big entrepreneurs like Theo Baloyi and others, to empower young people to take great initiative, and what are the great skills that they need to become great entrepreneurs?
Mm. Yeah, so I've done some work in angel investing. So in that space, I got to work with a lot of entrepreneurs. And so what I do know about entrepreneurship as well is that it's so broad. It doesn't necessarily always mean starting your own business. It can actually be an invention that you make within an existing business. And so there's so much that can be done in that kind of a space. So I definitely will not limit myself. I do think that there is a space that I do see myself in within entrepreneurship, but as the opportunities are very vast at the moment, I don't have anything narrowed down as yet, because I think that we can really do something great and something big within the space. So yeah, most definitely. And I think it's a very important space to break that unemployment as well in our country. So we really need to teach the youth to not only learn what's in a textbook, but really a way of thinking outside of the box, because at the end of the day, that's what entrepreneurship is. It's about being able to see a need, being able to see an opportunity outside of what already exists, and just to monetize that.
No, that's really great, because like I believe if I'm an entrepreneur, I can be able to hire the next person, and that way we can deteriorate the rate of unemployment. So I'm doing film and TV, which is part of entertainment. Do you love entertainment?
Of course, who doesn't?
Were you watching this show? I'm not sure what is still playing. Recently, I've been busy with school. I've not been watching TV a lot. There is this show called Gyan Land of Blood. Do you know it?
I know of it. Yeah, it was shot. It was shot in Kiani as well, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I've heard of it. I heard when they were shooting it, but I didn't get the chance to watch it. Is it out already?
Like season 2, yeah, was like long time ago, actually, long time ago.
Oh,
Yeah, do you know Fuman Shulwan?
the name sounds very familiar.
Do you know
The name sounds.
election by scope called Love Specialist?
No, sorry, I haven't gotten the chance to watch a lot of TV lately, as you can imagine.
No, it was shot maybe in 2014, 15. Love Specialist.
Oh, wow, that's such a long time ago. I feel like I wouldn't even remember if I did watch. Yeah.
You must check him on Instagram. He's there as one of the great Tsonga producers, content writers. There's Mafanat also on Showmax, actually. He's one of the producers. He's actually the executive producer of that series. Yeah.
Okay. What? Will you just write it out for me in the chat so I can search it?
It's Mafanat. You know how to write
I just want
Mafanat?
to get the spelling right. That's how I was like, just
It's
maybe write it in the chat.
let me just it's a K. Let me just write it. Um, yeah, something like this. So, do you have any plans when it comes to entertainment? There are a lot of young people out there who are in entertainment, studying film and TV, but they don't have necessarily tools for them, maybe to shoot something or something like, yeah, to make that skill, because not all of us after graduating we find job. Not all of us are starting to work for somebody. Some of us, we believe that one day we'll be able to work for ourselves. It's back to entrepreneurship. Do you have any plans to say, this is what I want to focus on entertainment, these are the changes that I want to bring to entertainment industry as Miss South Africa?
I think, like you're saying, it goes back to entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And as in South Africa, obviously, I have a background in investment, in commerce, in entrepreneurship, and so I can also only do so much in the space well educated on. And so I definitely do think though that I can partner with people who are more informed with the spheres of film and industry, and people that are more aware of the gaps that could be filled. Because I think as much as we can read up on certain things, it's only the people that are actively working in the space that truly know the gaps that still need to be filled. So I'm open to always partnering up, because I do believe that it's our youth that is going to make the difference. And if a lot of our youth can also just go into that space of film, then we can really solve the issues of unemployment, like you're saying. So most definitely open to partnering up.
Now, all the best again when it comes to that. Like everything you put your hand into. I'm a Christian too, so I know you're a PK. You know, I'm a Christian too, so I believe in God a lot. You know, after being crowned MISSSA, have you maybe took any initiative to go back to church, you know, where your father is pastoring, you know, to say thank you for your prayers? Because I had him, the guy I told you about, Fuman Shiluban, he's one of the producers of a YouTube channel called Euronews, you know, so they have interviewed both your parents there. So, yes, have you heard of it?
Oh yes, that's how that name sounds. I definitely do know the channel as well, and I do know that he did an interview with my parents as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So have you taken an opportunity maybe to go back to church, say, guys, thank you for your prayers, because your father there, he said he was asking for the church also to pray for you to be able to win that opportunity, you know, and now you have won it.
Yes, I think definitely the church did pray for me, but it was more than just the church. I received so many prayers also from people outside of the church, and you know, it's been a very busy time. But when I did go home, I just asked my father to pass the message on, because it's been such a busy schedule and we haven't had the opportunity to physically go to the church. But I had sent out my message of gratitude to them as well, and to all the different groups that have been supporting me. It really did take the whole nation to get me where I am today, through prayers and through physical support. So yeah, definitely grateful for that.
I heard your mom, she said that you were playing netball and many other sports. You know, as Miss South Africa now, having these responsibilities, are you going to have time for sports?
So I had to stop sports in 2019 because I got a knee injury, and I also wanted to do modeling. So I realized that I'm gonna have to choose one. My whole life I was balancing everything, but there was a point where I realized that the one is going to fail if I don't stop with the other, because I'll continue to injure my knee with every game that I played. So I decided that let me just go into modeling, because clearly I can't do netball anymore, unfortunately. So yeah, that has stopped even before. But I if I get time to play, really, you know, maybe, but it's quite dangerous right now because I never went for surgery, so I don't even think it's worth it.
Any sports maybe you are willing to learn, like cricket or golf or anything interesting, you know, to clear your mind from work whenever you're free?
I've always wanted to try out tennis. It seems like a really fun and chill. Well, it looks difficult, but it seems like something I would enjoy. So I want to start trying out tennis. Yeah, definitely going to try out tennis.
Besides, you know, work and all the stuff, what do you use your personal time for?
So I am a sucker for family and community and friends. So whenever I have time, I really enjoy to host my friends over for a games night or for a dinner, mostly games nights because we're all competitive. And I always say I'm sure that was the prerequisite to be in the friendship group, because you have to be competitive, because we always have a games night. And then if I'm alone, I enjoy to read and listen to a lot of podcasts and to do something adventurous. I'm always up for trying out new things that'll just get the adrenaline pumping. So yeah, definitely an adventurous person.
Yeah, that's great. Talking about podcast, do you know McG?
Talking about
Podcast, do you know McG?
yes.
Would you go to his podcast if he invites you?
I don't know if it would be a safe space for me, but no, I'm kidding. Probably, it depends. We would probably speak on, there's a lot that we could speak on. I do like the work that they do, the topics that they bring out, and they bring it in such a light way. So I really do enjoy listening to them as well.
No, that's good. I won't make comments or anything. How do you plan to celebrate? How do you plan to celebrate this Heritage Month?
Well, so I'm very big on my culture, and I'm pretty sure that you've seen that, and that comes from growing up not doing it for the longest time. I was always shying away from my background and where I came from because of I always thought I needed to leave that when I went to school because I didn't see it being much represented at the school. And so when I grew up, I realized that no, I am who I am because of all of that. So I embrace it as much as I can. So we will obviously now don't work as just an individual. So we obviously have to celebrate as a country, celebrate everybody's cultures together. So we'll see what we have planned out as the official South Africa team.
No, you must have a way to celebrate it. We are all looking out there for whatever that
Sorry,
you do.
I've lost you on sound again.
I'm saying you must have a way to celebrate it. We are all looking to whatever that you're doing. Whether you stay true to your promises, your words.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be. You'll definitely see it's going to be a celebration, as always. So yeah, I think I've really been very true to ensuring that people see my culture. So many people after my homecoming said they want a Shikha line because of how beautiful they saw it. With the homecoming. So no, definitely are keeping pushing with the culture.
No, you will. One of the things that your mom, Miss B, Nokeri said, she said that you are very disciplined, humble, and willing to learn. You're always on Google trying to learn new things and all the stuff. So in which way, she say, how do you explain yourself when it comes to meekness and respect? What shaped you to be that respectful and humble, hardworking? She said also you're hardworking, a beautiful Tsonga lady.
So I think it started off with the competitiveness. So if I've always been the kind of person that if I want to achieve something, then I will do everything that I need to do to get it. Because I believe that we are all capable of achieving whatever we want to achieve as long as you can put your mind on it and then work for it. So I've always believed that nothing is impossible. And that's really helped me to pursue every single thing that I wanted. And I think what also really helped with being hardworking is surrounding yourself with people that have similar goals to you or people that are achieving more than you because you're constantly being pulled to be more disciplined as you see them achieve. For me, it really pushed me to want to do so much more. And then self-accountability as well. I think when you truly know what you want and you told yourself you want something, which a lot of people do, but then they never hold themselves accountable for the things that they say they want to do. So as I hold myself accountable, if I wrote something down that said this is my goal, I want to get a distinction for this module, then I'm the only person who can make that happen. So I would always hold myself accountable to do that. And being humble, I think it's really my family and the environment that I grew up in. It was always a matter of, just being respectful. I think that's where it starts. If you can truly respect every person, regardless of their socioeconomic status, regardless of how much they earn, it doesn't matter what people are earning. I think just looking at a person and respecting them for who they are is so important. And always knowing that things things perish, things disappear. So you cannot put too much value on the little things that disappear. I always put so much more value in the people because, you always have the people to help you and you cannot go far if you're going alone. So yeah, that definitely helped me to remain humble.
Man, that's great. one day in your speeches, like a few days ago, actually during homecoming, you said that you hope to inspire other young ladies, to be able to see themselves in you, to say that we also coming from small humble beginnings, we can be able to achieve whatever that we want, whatever that we believe. You said that 2 years ago, Shitufatso, she also inspired you when she was crowned, Miss South Africa. Have you maybe after being crowned have a meeting with her, maybe trying to get advices from her? How did you go through this, journey?
Sorry, you were cutting a little. Can you please repeat that?
Saying that you said 2 years ago you were inspired when Shitufatsu was crowned Miss SA, and you hope that young girls also may be inspired through you. So after being crowned Miss SA, have you maybe set a meeting with Shitufatsu, to try and get direction, encouragement, or advices to asking her how did you manage to navigate through this, her journey?
Yeah. Yeah, so she was one of my biggest inspirations, or the final push that I needed to enter Miss South Africa. And on social media, we have had it was more on an informal basis. I wouldn't say we set up a meeting and discussed everything, but it's just that knowing of if I need anything or if I have any questions, then she's there to answer. She's willing to avail herself to me, which is really helpful, because she's walked the journey. So it's great value that I can get from her. But also all the other previous Miss South Africas, I have access to all of them as well. They were also kind of sent me messages to say, congratulations. If you have anything that you need, we are here for you. And when we're free, please let's set up a coffee. So there's a great amount of support from the former Miss South Africas and from Shutifatsu herself as well.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, you should have time, to talk to them. You can.
Sorry, I've lost them sound.
You can have, set meeting. You will learn a lot from them. We can't grow alone. We need each other, to support each other. In one of your statements, you said that, I'm sorry if I misquote you, but you said that we can't grow as a country where there's 50% of others, suffering, in unemployment and all other stuff. So, yeah, in everything that you put your mind to, may God be with you and bless you and help you to achieve it, give you the strength. Sometimes you will receive critics, paparazzi will always be there, trying to decipher what you are doing, behind the cameras and all the stuff. So through prayers, as much as you are a believer, I think God will carry you through this journey.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate those words of encouragement.
Thanks, sis. Taking just going to my closure, that.
Sorry, I can't hear you again.
Going to my closure, there are other young women out there I know of, School Representative Council at Veg universities. They have, Women Caucus and many other NPOs, that are trying out there to empower young people, encourage, revitalize the spirit of feminism. Are you available to such kind of maybe events, and how can people, if you're available, how can they be able to reach out to you to be able to be part of them?
And that's amazing that they're doing that. I really love it when, young people take initiative to empower other young women. So that's incredible, and I love to see myself in those spaces. So I will absolutely try to avail myself of that. I do avail myself of that. So if you want to, schedule a session with me or invite me for one of the talks or events that they're going to have, then you can email my manager. I don't know if I should give you the email now, if I can type it through in the chat.
It's okay if you don't mind. When I edit the video, I can put out the email. If you don't mind, I can put out the email when I edit the video, and I'll put it on the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the email is missa@missa.co.za.
Now, yeah, just one more last thing that I want to check this out. It would be injustice for many young people out there who's going to watch this. Not to mention it, every year at Vets University and many other institutions, we are crying because of financial exclusion. For an example, right now I'm in debt. I'm not quite sure whether NSFAS would pay all my fees, because last year I took a laptop. They never paid it, and blah blah blah. So the debts are adding up and adding up. So if they reach 10,000, I can't be able to register next year. I must be able to pay those debts. So we have this exclusion. If it's 10,000, I can't be able to register. Young people out there, they want to be educated, but the government is fighting so hard to make that education to be hard for them to attain it. So I just want to say that whenever you have meetings with these people, ministers, just try to talk to them, raise these issues.
Yeah.
We really want to be educated, but it's not easy. It's not easy at all.
Yeah.
Right now, inflation prices, are taking us every day, and
Yeah.
the thing, the allowance is 1.5, has been 1.5 for many years. 2 liter of cooking oil is 100 rand. You see, out of 1.5 you are left with 1.4. So it's really hard for them to navigate, or for us to navigate through this journey. So it is a scenario that I'm bringing to you. Oh my god.
I figured, no stress.
Actually, the devil is working overtime. So as I was saying that these are the kind of challenges that we have. So I will really appreciate whenever you have engagement with this, try to bring this subject forth. Perhaps they will do something.
Yeah. Most definitely. It's a really big issue, and it takes away from the learning time. I think for me, I always think about how much time students are wasting also having to protest, and at the same time they will want to say that learners are wasting their own time, but at the end of the day, if they don't do it, then who will implement the change? So definitely do think it's very important that we have those discussions and put things in place that will reduce that friction that always exists with finances and within the educational spaces.
Now, thanks a lot for coming through. What is your advice, to every young people in general, whether male or female? What is your advice to them? And this one is more precise. What is your advice to every female out there, who are maybe single mothers, or maybe they don't have the necessary resources to be educated or to achieve whatever they want to?
Okay. Yeah, so my advice to, the public in general, males and females, is that, for me, something that always stands out, or a quote that I always remember, is the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. A lot of us come from, humble places, or it doesn't matter wherever you are. Sometimes you just feel like your dreams are too far, or the goal that you have is too big. But I think what is important is to take that first step, because from that, then everything else will flow. I had to do this thing, this big dream of becoming Miss South Africa, and being a young, I was like, oh, this is seeming a bit big for me. But when I took that first step, sending in that entry form, doing my research, whatever that I did, helped me to be sitting where I am. Your dream might not come true. You are the only one who can make them come true by taking the first step and working towards it each and every day. And to all the women in the country who are feeling like, they're alone, they're isolated, they have a lot of responsibility and sometimes don't have enough to see things through, my advice to you is that, we see you there. I think one big thing is support. There are a lot of support systems out there. Don't try to do things alone. Reach out to your neighbor, reach out to your community, and also be someone who reaches out to someone to help them. I think a lot of the times we isolate ourselves, whereas we would realize that if we just work together, we can draw so much from each other's different strengths. So utilize the community, to utilize the society that's been created for you, and keep pushing forward. I think we're doing a lot as a nation to try and help each other, because we've seen that we are stronger together.
That's really powerful. Now, do you have plans for on the 23rd of this month?
I literally have to check my schedule,
Yeah.
but let me quickly see. Well, are you inviting me to something?
Yes, I'm a subcom at RES, so we are hosting academic gala dinner, so I would really appreciate, even if you come for 30 minutes of that time where you will be addressing us, just to be there to address us during that academic dinner. But I know your team, they're out there listening to me, they would kill me, but I will try to do it the right way, send them an email requesting to have you to come. So like, it's a RES academic dinner. We're going to have it at dining hall. We don't have budget, maybe to buy you petrol, but we have small gifts that we can appreciate you with.
Oh, that's so sweet. So definitely think we can go about it the formal way. Just send through an email. I would love to join. I'd love to spend some time with you guys. So just send through the email, then I'm sure something can be arranged.
Nkhensa swinene a ku endla nkarhi despite your busy schedule, endla nkarhi wa ku tawulala na mina. Nkhensa swinene, Xikwembu xi va na wena, tinjombe na mikateko hinkwaswo.
Amen. Can see.
Enjoy your day. For myself, I love you a lot, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. All my love to you as well.
Thank you.